bad witch. I'ma be rich. I'll make the beat switch. I'ma be bitch. I'm the bad witch. I'ma be rich.
Happy day, vibe time. Rocking with your favorite friendly entertainment. Stiggity motivator. With the vibes that are greater. That's your girl in your odyssey. Also known as Jenny B. On Spotify. On other streaming platforms. And here I am in your odyssey. And I'm happy to be with you today. Happy day. So I normally let this song play out.
I'ma be bitch. I'm the bad witch.
I'ma be rich.
I'll make the beat switch. I'ma be bitch. I'm the bad witch. I'ma be rich. I'll make the beat switch. I'ma be
We be blue today.
bad witch. I'ma be rich. I'll make the beat switch. I'ma be bitch. I'm the bad
So
witch.
blue
I'ma be rich.
I know things that I've learned in blue. Alright. Blue slows the metabolism, has a calming effect, suppresses appetite, eases the mind. So how about green? Green soothes eye strain, reduces stress, relaxes the body, and helps with healing. Kinda cool. Happy day, my vibe tribe. It has been about 24 hours since we have chatted. All the boys speak noisily. So whenever I have my echo on, it's normally quite noisy. And today, I always have to work on the lighting. Today, I worked on the lighting before I started stream. So our lighting is normally, we have this top light, and it always gives me like a shine on my forehead and on my cheekbones. So I have this dim light over here, and it kind of lights up the room a little bit. And then I have my water light. Well, it's not a water light. I would call it a vibe light. It's like vibes, you know? I was thinking of having, to see what it looks like to not have the mushroom thing on the wall. And that would be a first, because I would just want to see how it looks on the wall, you know, how it looks all trippy and stuff. So today I'm wearing my I Can't Adult Today shirt. This is a classic shirt. This is the shirt that I wore whenever I DJ'd for you guys on YouTube. It's on YouTube. That's stiggity. You are a big six-pack, aren't you? Well, you know what? I have gained some weight. But you know, I still have my six-pack. Maybe it's about a 4-pack now. You know, I have to do some sit-ups. It's been a while since I've done some sit-ups. So I watched 2 movies today. And the movies were, was it Bennett or something like that? Oh my gosh. It's like Bennett or something like that. And I watched Street Kings. So Street Kings was with Keanu Reeves and the guy that played Captain America, and also I think Forrest Whitaker was in it. I'm pretty sure Forrest Whitaker was in it. The movie Street Kings. I watched that movie, and Keanu Reeves was like a badass cop. That I don't know. He was a bad cop. He was like a crooked cop too. He was like a good guy. So that's pretty cool. Watched 2 movies today, and I was definitely thinking about our chats on here and how in sync we have been. And so yeah, to get disgusted, you know, let's discuss it. Let's discuss it. And I'm pretty sure we have. I've been scrolling through the Facebook feed, and I feel like maybe we should make a stream of that. You know, me scrolling through the Facebook feed, commenting on different things and stuff and such. You know, there's a lot of personal stuff that I have not talked to you guys about. So, you know, every day is definitely a new day. You know, come to your own PR. Personal relations are Puerto Rican. Just start watching my reel quietly. Go do some other live. You know, I enjoy watching myself, and I'm not sure if that's narcissistic to say. So, oh yeah, mentioning the lighting. It's pretty good. That natural lighting. It kind of makes me look shiny though. It does make me look a little shiny. So how was y'all's day been? You spent the year receiving the unit? You know, that's something amazing. You know, receiving. This is one of my pet peeves about myself, is that I say you know. My father used to say and so on, you know, after the way I say you know, he would say and so on. Momo! Hello. Hey, you. We're all good friends here. Somebody in the chat was saying, somehow I make my haters my friends. Or somehow I make my haters my fans. You're listening? I'm happy that you're listening. You know, it's good to have you here. I had my medicine today. I was, a few days ago, I was on the phone with the mental health place. They have to transfer my documents to this, they have to transfer my documents to Social Security, because Social Security, you know, you would think that because Social Security, you know, they have, you know, they could collect all the information about you. Somehow you have to manually do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, allergy bloaters. Oh my gosh, allergy bloaters. The sun shining on me was making it a little hot. Close to my coffee. So, did you know the bystanders confront a man after 11 injured in Walmart from a stabbing? That was 5 hours ago. Made headlines. Astronomers discover a giant alien planet 35 times more massive than Earth, hiding in a known star. Ten most impossibly unaffordable housing markets in the world. 5 are in the U.S. So, we were talking about Indian reservations for the Puerto Ricans. That's stiggity stiggity. Happiness is mine. My luck is good. I got you, baby. Is it? I got you and you're out of state. I got you. Shoo-be-doo. You got me and you're out of state. You have me and you're out of state. And you're out of state as you. Shoo-be-doo. You seem amazing, G. Good evening. You have your eyes on me. I'm happy that you have your eyes on me. I have my eyes on the chat. You know? Haji. I have So I was mentioning that the only reason I posted my screenshots for all the cryptos for my personal recognition, because if you don't keep a journal or something about it, then you're gonna have your coins and all these markets and stuff, and then you're gonna forget what coin you had it in, how you did it, and all that stuff and things. Today we have something that came in the mail. I think it's a journal. It's a mental health workbook. So maybe we can play with our mental health workbook. Because I was talking about health and fitness planners, notes, mental health overview, mental health trackers, mental health worksheets, mental health journal bundle. I choose to focus on the positive aspects of life. I choose to focus on the positive aspects of life and maintain a mindset of gratitude and optimism. I'm in control of my thoughts and emotions, and I decide to see good in everything. In every situation. I find joy in the little things and cherish the moments of happiness that each day brings. Every day is a new beginning, and I choose happiness over fear, knowing that a positive mindset leads to a fulfilling life. I choose to focus on the positive aspects of life and maintain a mindset of gratitude and optimism. I'm in control of my thoughts and emotions, and I decide to see the good in every situation. I find joy in the little things and cherish the moments of happiness that each day brings. Every day is a new beginning, and I choose happiness over fear, knowing that a positive mindset leads to a fulfilling life. And then I have, write down my name, my date of birth, my current mental health status. Mental health history. There's mental health goals and action plan. It's pretty cool. I have a food diary, a water tracker. Fighting fear. Your fear description, situation, trigger of fear. So I have to fill out a lot of this stuff. A mental health workbook. Let him look at the public. His brother is recruiting contract officers there. Stiggity stiggity. Are you talking about crypto? So whenever I was younger, my mom, well, it was some years ago, whenever my boyfriend was living with me and my mom was working as the person that delivers newspapers. She got paid really good for it. And so her and him, in the middle of the night, they'd wake up super late / super early and deliver newspapers. And I forgot what the point of that was. Oh, right. You had said something about posts. So I think whenever I'm not in my classes anymore, whenever I graduate, I have 3 more classes. Hopefully I have just 1 more class left. So yeah, my ex had lived with me and my mom for some years before we moved out on our own. I moved out whenever I was 18. So it was before I was 18. And so that was the last time that I lived with my mom. And I currently live with my mom. I was living on my own in the mountains, researching things online, talking to people online, being a whole comedian, and he would help her with the posts, with the newspaper routes. And so sometimes I would wake up and I would help them with the newspaper routes. Most of the time I would sleep, and so we had slept together, and he would wake up, he'd give me a kiss, and I would know that him and mom were off to the newspaper routes. And they would deliver newspapers on the more rich part of town. And I have a lot of friends that live there, and I have some friends that have partied a little too hard over there on that side of town and freaking overdosed and stuff. Not a good thing. I've never been into the stuff that you can overdose. Though I have definitely drank myself under the table a few times before, and I slept comfortably. I woke up with a massive hangover. I'm currently in good graces with this ex, and I love you. You've been watching me for the last 30 hours. My content is really soothing to watch, soothing and funny. So, yeah, we would sleep together. He'd give me a kiss on the cheek, tell me that he loved me, and then they would be out on the newspaper route until around 6 o'clock in the morning, and then they would come back from the route, and there was really good pay from it. And so I had helped my mom out a few times with it. My mom has always worked really hard. Now I'm happy that she has a job, and her job is to talk to people. Her job is and she has the gift of gab, and so do I. So that's something that we have in common. Oh my gosh, my coffee's so good. I added some evaporated milk with my coffee. So whenever you have someone in your life that is willing to be, slightly uncomfortable to be comfortable with you, it's not a nightmare. It's actually a dream come true. Whenever you can be slightly uncomfortable to be comfortable, whenever you can, live with your boyfriend's parents, to enjoy your boyfriend, it's something really stickity. And I've lived with my ex-boyfriend before in a shed on his grandparents' property, and it was like that for a few, almost a few years. It was like, and it's really hot in the summertime. Right now, it is 100 degrees outside, so I'm happy to be inside. I'm happy to be streaming. And, my ex had texted me recently, and he's like, I still love you, bunches. He would always say, I love you, bunches of oodles and noodles. He would say, I love you, bunches of oodles and chicken teriyaki noodles. And that was just something, like you have a pet name for your boyfriend or your girlfriend, that relationship, the relationship with that he lived with me and my mom, that was a 4-year relationship, and we've been best friends. We were best friends for years before we started dating, and we were kind of dating. We were best friends, and we lived together. And he would help mom around the house. he would drive me to school. He gave me my first car. My first car was his car. And then one day I was at work or something, and he called me and he was like, I need you to come pick me up. I'm gonna buy you a car. I was like, what? And he's like, I need you to come pick me up. I'm gonna buy you a car. I was like, no way. I picked him up, and he had like $12,000 in cash. I don't know how he got it. You know, it must have been from a settlement or something. And he was like, all right, today's the day. We're gonna buy you a new car. And I was still driving his old car. It was a Chevy Cavalier, I remember, that had the roll-up windows. You know, you had to crank the windows to roll them up. It was one of those, and you know, I was definitely impressed. I was for sure impressed because he didn't have a job at the time, and he had received the money from his settlement, and he just wanted to spend it on me. And I was really happy about that, it is a good reaction, you can't blame me for, if I didn't ask him for it. He was like, all right, come pick me up, we're gonna buy a new car. And so, in the car that he had bought me, I think the radiator was bad. I had to buy a new radiator. Instead of fixing the car, he just bought me a whole new car. So I had picked a Mercury Cougar. I picked a Mercury Cougar, and we rode that to the beach. Now, the boyfriend that I lived with in the shed, and we were together almost 10 years, he would always have jobs out of town, and I would always come with him out of town. And so it would be really cool if I was streaming, because while I was in the hotel room, I was just playing online on my laptop and downloading new music, because back then I was, back then hi Chris. And then I was a DJ, and he was very homebody. He would stay home, and I would DJ, and he would be my DD. I would call him. He would pick me up. He would come scoop me. He would come scoop me from wherever I was, and it always seemed like I was like the damsel in distress, because he would always, I would get him out of situations, he would get me out of situations. If I was too drunk at a party or something, and the party wasn't that fun anymore, I would call him and he would come scoop me. The last time that I saw him is whenever I moved from my trailer to here, because I had to move all my stuff from my trailer into storage. And once I'm done with these classes and stuff, I can have the peace of mind that I can have a few drinks, I can sort through my stuff, and I won't have to worry about probate court, because I didn't break the law or anything. That's something I want to have say straight. I didn't break the law. It was because of an intervention. It was like a family intervention. My mom and my sister were like, you're drinking too much, and your mental health. They were worried about my mental health because I was just streaming. I wasn't really talking to anyone outside of streaming. Now, I have gotten back in touch with all my friends, all my close friends, and I have been making an effort to hang out with my friends. Yesterday I was invited out to dinner. Now my friend always brings me out to dinner on Saturdays, and that's because the check comes in on Friday, brings me out to dinner on Saturday, me and my mom, and it's something nice, and he has work around his property, so he'll pay me to work on his property. He actually is friends with my ex, so sometimes my ex will help him around the property and throw him some money or whatever. That's neither here nor there, And so, speaking of Andrew, I need to get in touch with my friend Andrew. I haven't talked to Drew, Sidekick Beats, in years, it seems. He moved to Georgia, and I would start to hear from him less and less. Though he's living with his brother and stuff, so I'm happy about that. So he has company. And his brother's kind of crazy, so it's similar to me, so I'm sure that he has good company. I remember I was the first person that ever got him drunk, and that was at my old trailer, and we were standing out back, and he was drinking. I had like a fifth of Jack Daniels, or it was some bourbon. I had like a fifth, and he started throwing up, off the back porch, and then his legs, because he was like on his stomach, his legs started coming up, and his head was, down, and before he flipped off the freaking back porch, I pulled his legs down, and I was like, and I was holding his legs down because he was like on his stomach, kind of teetering on the rail. So that was. That was a good story. That was a fun story. I have so many stories, guys, to tell you. Streaming every day, I'll still have a million stories to tell you guys, because I have stories that I've never released before. I've never talked about before. I have talked about me and my ex living together in a shed. I was working for Papa John's at the time, so I would wake up, I would have a shower inside the house, I would change my clothes into my uniform, and then I was off to work. And sometimes his grandma would help me with like washing my clothes or whatever. I didn't ask her. She would just be like, Jenny, where's your work clothes? And I would bring her my work clothes, and she would wash my work clothes, and it was really, I was 19 whenever me and him started dating, and I was in my early 20s, and I'm still in my early 20s. I think I'm gonna be a teenager forever. Vibe check. I know we've been streaming 33. Whenever I looked at the clock, it was 33 minutes and 33 seconds. And typically we have around this time we have it cuts our stream because YouTube seems to enjoy streams where I they enjoy whenever I'm talking to y'all. They enjoy whenever I'm telling stories, and I should have told stories on the big screen, and just have you guys in the background. Though I enjoy to display the chat. And sometimes you guys have comments that make me, help me to think, So, in some kind of ways, we've been together, living in a shed, a trailer. We had it was a 2-bedroom trailer, and then one of the bedrooms is I turned into a stream room, and I had the mushroom background. Now, see, this is what I was thinking. Does that look cool? I don't know, I think that looks kind of cool. Back to my station. Stiggity. And I was thinking about starting a radio station because, through playing a bunch of music and then, having talk shows and stuff. So I have this pillow that I sit on so I can be a little bit taller. So I can be a little bit taller in the camera. Because if I tilt the camera down more, whenever I'm in full screen, whenever I'm in full screen, things and stuff and such. Now my full screen is you guys. So I was in an intensive outpatient treatment or rehabilitation. It was where I attended class 3 times a week, and then they had random drug screens. And now I have 4 classes, and I heard that if I do good, that they'll let me graduate my second class. So I'm really hoping that's what's up, because I have a lot of work to do, and having a few drinks would definitely soothe my anxiety. Whenever I packed all my stuff into storage, oh my goodness, I have not released the video of the last day at my old house. And I call it a house because a trailer is pretty much a house. If you have if you have a front yard, a backyard, and your neighbors are not close enough to where all the screaming that I've done during my episodes. Oh, you found my Goober Gossip. So I do have a Goober Gossip channel on Spotify, and everyone loves my podcasts. I need to get back into the podcasts. Everyone loves my podcasts. I would be in the store, and people would be, mentioning things about my podcast, and I'd be like, oh, they've listened to the podcast. That's diggity. And my podcasts have I had somebody come up to me and tell me that they're like, I recognize you from somewhere. And most people that podcast, they don't show their face very often, so it was cool for me to stream and have my podcasts, and I would stream on mobile stream. I would kind of show everything about my life, and every as many times as I changed platforms, you guys have been here, and you guys have been, patiently waiting for me to stream and to show the chat, and I am just a big kid, and I'm Puerto Rican, so I have many names legally, and you guys know me as Enyor Odyssey on YouTube. I'm Jenny Mirabel on Facebook. I'm Jenny Beats on Spotify. I have not updated my Spotify in forever. And I am Vibe Tribe on Spotify. So I was thinking about creating Vibe Tribe similar to Goober Gossip, because I need to, I didn't write down my password information for each channel. So I don't know if hopefully I can get back into my Goober Gossip. Hopefully I can get back into my Jenny Beats. I finally did. And then I started a new podcast, because I feel like that's what podcasters do. Before they make it big, they have like multiple channels that they utilize. And thank you, Dylan. Thank you for the love. They have multiple channels and stuff that they utilize before, they make it big. And, we're talking to Snowflake yesterday, and he was like, you're so big and all that things and stuff and such. And that made me feel good. It made me feel good because it's something that I've worked for. It's something original. It's something natural. And at the beginning of my mobile stream, I showed you guys the background, and it was penguins. It was a penguin background. So this is my studio, my office, my Zen space, and this is our vibe space, I converted a room into a studio, office, and stream room. And some of y'all are in the stream. I have two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. So I know that a lot of y'all are watching through, sometimes I'm thrown off. I'm like, how is it, that they're laughing? How is it that you guys are completely synced with me? Because it seems as though everyone hears what I'm saying. They're listening. And also they're watching. So I'm not sure if they're watching through my mobile stream. I'm not sure if they're watching through the Twitch stream, which you can watch without clicking in. You could just unmute it and it'll show, it'll show you the stream without you having to provide me with a viewer. That is one of the goals, though, that I have to have like a certain amount of viewers and for something, I have to retain a certain amount of viewers for a certain amount of time that are like talking in the chat and stuff. The most interesting thing about political science is that you can share it sometimes it comes back to something, seemingly small, it comes back to things that I said in a stream, or it comes back to things that we discussed in the chat, or it comes back to, a notion that I had mentioned, and that's what, that's kind of the beauty in it. And I've been thinking of how we could, relive that, and relive it in multiple different circumstances, and that's how, that's the weird thing about the political science thing, is because, it is amazing. It is amazing. There are definitely amazing qualities that, from something so seemingly, from something so connected, could be something so much bigger, Here I am saying, So the topic today, that is a good idea, to have a topic of the day, because I did write about my screenshots and how I didn't want to lose track of what I was doing with my crypto, so I just screenshotted a bunch of stuff. Hopefully I could, re-find it, Similar to writing down passwords, you write them down and you have it in a journal or a book or somewhere where you can you can re-find it, so whenever you are trying to find your password for something, you have it written down in a place that you won't lose it. So I was like, I'll post it on Facebook, and it'll also help my friends if they wanted to partake in my crypto adventures. So it is literally 100 degrees. We have a heat warning, in the Charlotte area. So, that's something. That's why I've been inside. I was watching 2 movies. I watched Street Kings, and I watched another movie. I watched it on Amazon Video.
Da, 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 da.
I am the American dream, the blood of this city, the undying machine. The overpriced medicine, the murderous regime, the tough guys front and the one behind the scene.
Who are we? You straight nightmare.
I killed another man today.
On the streets of LA,
I could not be prouder of my men.
every cop wants justice.
There are 2 cop killers out there. We can get these guys.
But how they get it
You dudes is monsters, man.
is what sets them apart.
Show me.
You expect me to leave my car in the hood, man?
Hey, get me up out of here.
It's on its way.
This is our world. So let's take it.
So what do they call you?
Quicks, man.
Quicks. Not quick enough.
Loud dog, cover me.
We're the police. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Who is Forrest Whitaker? Chris Evans is his name.
We're just gonna go in there.
I said
and
the
kill
guy
him?
from
I'm gonna ask him
Captain
some
America.
questions. Then we're gonna kill him.
Yeah, it was Chris Evans, Keanu Reeves, Forrest Whitaker. It was the guy from The Game, the guy that 50 Cent had put on, and then there were some other really good actors. It was a really good movie. I watched it with Mama Beats. And I thank God, I thank God that I'm more lucky than Mama Beats. I'm more lucky than Mama Beats' father, and I'm more lucky than my father. And cheers to that. Sometimes whenever you guys ask me what my name is, I want to say something in the chat. So it was probably an older movie. It was new to me because it was on Amazon Prime. It's 1, 2, 3. It's on Amazon Prime, and it was one of the top movies on Amazon Prime. So did you hear about Lilo and Stitch? Crossing over $1 billion revenue from the time that they had released the movie. That's something pretty cool. That's something pretty cool. Now we know you. Now we all know. My sister is a quarter German, a quarter Romanian, and 50% Puerto Rican. I'm 100% Puerto Rican. So my grandfather had pretty much raised me. He died whenever I was 11, and I was at his deathbed, and I was holding his hand. It was probably one of the most traumatic things in my life, and made me a little bit of who I am, because he was very personable. He was, he would talk to everyone. He would perform for them. He would play harmonica, guitar, the weedo. Whenever we were in Coney Island, all the bands that had performed knew him, so they'd be like, Nando! And he would come perform with the bands. For 20% on my phone. So I have 5 videos that I haven't released.